Welcome to another deep dive. You guys sent in some really interesting stuff about the importance of names,
Yeah.
particularly when it comes to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
Right.
So we're going to be diving into excerpts from Elder Neil L. Andersen's talk, The Name of the Church is Not Negotiable, from the October 2021 General Conference.
Okay.
And we're going to explore why this topic is so crucial
Yeah.
and what impact that has had on both the members of the church and how the public perceives the church.
It's amazing how much weight a name can carry, isn't it? It's not just a label, it's about identity.
Right?
It's about purpose and even spiritual power.
Yeah.
So in this deep dive, we're going to kind of unpack how those ideas connect in Elder Andersen's message.
Okay, let's unpack it.
Yeah.
So Elder Andersen starts by emphasizing how strongly President Russell M. Nelson felt about using the full name of the church. He actually received a revelation about it.
Yes.
And he even used the phrase, the name of the church is not negotiable, several times, which definitely indicates the seriousness of it.
Definitely. Yeah, and I think one of the things that's interesting that you might be thinking is, why now?
Right.
You know, the church used nicknames for years.
Yeah.
And so Elder Andersen kind of addresses that and ties this emphasis to this specific moment in time in the Lord's work.
Yeah.
He uses Joseph Smith's prophecy about the church filling the world as an example.
Right.
And so this context is actually really crucial to understanding the timing of the name change.
It's like the timing is super important, almost like a puzzle piece falling into place.
Exactly. Like it's not just a random change.
Right.
There's a bigger picture here.
So if the church is filling the world, does that mean that this name emphasis is about more than just members?
You're exactly right. Elder Andersen talks about the church becoming a shining light in a world where faith in Jesus Christ is diminishing.
Right.
And he even suggests that people who have been skeptical of the church in the past may come to see it as a source of truth and unity. It's like the church is stepping onto a bigger stage.
Okay, so how does that play out in real life?
Well, Elder Andersen shares an experience of a man named Lori Ahola.
Okay.
And Lori had this cool experience where he was talking with someone and the person kept calling him Mormon. And Lori gently corrected the person and said, well, actually, no, I'm a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
Right.
By using the full name of the church, he was able to teach this person about Mormon and ultimately share his testimony of Jesus Christ.
Wow.
And so it was a very simple act, but it had a really powerful effect.
Lori's story really shows how something as simple as using the right name can open up a conversation about faith. It's like a tiny seed that can grow into something amazing.
It is, yeah.
It makes you wonder if just saying the name can have that kind of impact.
Right.
What happens when we use the name consistently?
That's where President Nelson's promise comes in.
Okay.
Elder Andersen shares that President Nelson promised that using the correct name of the church would bring increased faith and spiritual power to individuals and families.
Wow.
And he even gives examples of how the Lord seems to be facilitating this effort.
Right.
So, for example, the domain names churchofjesuschrist.org and churchofjesuschrist.com were unavailable for years and suddenly became available right when the name change was announced.
You've got this massive effort to reclaim the church's name.
Right.
And then you see these seemingly coincidental events like the domain name suddenly becoming available.
Right.
It really makes you wonder, like, is there something bigger at play here? It's almost like a confirmation, right?
Yeah.
And speaking of effort, the church really put in the work to reflect this name change.
They did. Yeah.
They renamed the Mormon Tabernacle Choir. They transitioned LDS.org to churchofjesuschrist.org. And they updated thousands of products and materials.
It's been a huge undertaking, and they even created a new symbol. The church adopted a symbol that centers on Thorvaldsen's Christus statue.
Right.
It's this really powerful image of the resurrected Christ reaching out to embrace everyone.
Yeah.
And it's a visual reminder of the focus on Jesus Christ.
It's such a beautiful symbol, very powerful. But, you know, let's be real, not everyone was on board with this. Right?
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Was there any pushback?
Yeah, there was some resistance. Change can be hard, but Elder Andersen acknowledges that while some might resist the name change, there are plenty of examples of the media and leaders of other faiths respecting the church's wishes.
Okay.
There seems to be a growing understanding and acceptance.
That's good to hear. It seems like the world is starting to understand.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's not just about these big public changes, right?
Right.
Elder Andersen shares another story about how This emphasis on the name
Yeah.
has affected somebody outside the church.
Oh, cool.
This time it's about a young girl named Irira Jean.
Okay.
So Irira is a 10-year-old from Tahiti, and she was in class one day, and her teacher said something about the Mormon church. And Irira was brave enough to correct her teacher right there in front of everyone.
That's great.
Which is amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
That just shows how even young members
Right.
are really taking ownership of this principle and inspiring others.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So let's kind of zoom out for a second.
Okay.
What does all of this emphasis on the name tell us about where the church is headed?
That's a great question. If we look at the bigger picture,
Yeah.
this focus on the name of Jesus Christ shows that the church wants to be known first and foremost as a Christian church.
Okay.
It's about moving away from terms that might have been confusing or misleading in the past
Right.
and making it crystal clear what the church stands for.
So it's not just about getting the name right.
Right.
It's about making sure the message is clear. I wonder how this might impact people who aren't familiar with the church at all.
Yeah, that's a really important point. For some people, this emphasis on the name of Jesus Christ might actually help them understand the church's true purpose.
Okay.
It might even clear up some misconceptions they might have.
Right.
For others, it might just spark their curiosity.
And that curiosity could lead to some great conversations, right?
Exactly. It's like opening a door to understanding.
Yeah.
You know, it gives us a chance to explain our beliefs
Yeah.
and to share our testimonies of Jesus Christ.
It's like building bridges instead of walls.
You got it. And it's also a reminder that everyone is on their own journey of faith,
Right.
and we can all learn from each other.
Yeah, it sounds like this whole thing about the name
Yeah,
is much more than just a label.
it is.
It's about deepening our own commitment to Jesus Christ and inviting everyone else to do the same.
You summed it up perfectly. It's about living our lives
Yeah.
in a way that reflects his teachings and sharing his message of hope and love with the world.
And it seems like there's a real power in a name,
Yeah.
especially when that name is Jesus Christ.
Absolutely. Recognizing his divinity, his role in our lives, and his power to save us.
Right.
That's incredibly powerful.
So as we kind of wrap up this deep dive,
Yeah.
what's one thing that you hope people take away from this discussion?
For me, I think it's about each of us trying to live up to the name that we carry
Okay.
as members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
Yeah.
It's about reflecting his teachings in our lives and trying to become more like him every single day.
That's a beautiful thought.
Thanks.
It's not just about the name.
Yeah.
It's about the actions that go with it.
Exactly.
But what about our listener? What's one thought that you want to leave them with today? It's a good reminder that we're representing something much bigger than ourselves.
Yeah, it is. And I think a question worth thinking about is this, if the name of the church really is not negotiable,
Right.
what else in our faith should
Yeah.
we be just as committed to?
That's a really thought-provoking question to leave our listeners with today.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for joining me on this deep dive,
It's been a pleasure.
and we'll see you next time.
See ya.